Welcome to the Thursday, December 5th, 2019 Helm Developers Meeting. Just as a reminder, the format for this meeting is we kick it off with announcements, then the core maintainers do their around the room stand-ups to let us know what everyone is up to. We typically then open the floor after that for anybody else who has an announcement or wants to talk about something they've done, and then from there we dive into the preset agenda. So with that in mind, I'm going to open it up to announcements, and I believe Matt Farina has the first one on the table.
Yes, I'm stepping in for Matt Fisher, who couldn't make it today. But Mark, wave to everyone, Mark, is a new client, Helm client maintainer. Matt got to you before we announced this, right? Yeah, okay. So Mark is a new maintainer. He's been contributing to Helm for a while, and we did the vote, and he's in. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I really am honored.
Oh, we love all the work you've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
You had us at bash autocomplete.
Back to you, Dr. Butcher.
Do we have any other announcements that didn't make it onto the agenda? I don't know of any.
Put out Chart Museum 010 a few days ago.
Oh, so excellent.
With a security fix. It fixes the SNCC issue with the chart. So
that's excellent news. All right, I think if that's it for announcements, then we can go into stand-ups, and I'll go ahead and kick it off to Martin to get us started.
Hey folks, can you hear me? I'm kind of running in between, so yeah. So kind of getting back onto things after KubeCon and making my way back home through a circuitous route. Getting back into things. Kind of this week, kind of trying to get back up to full work on Helm. So probably starting tomorrow. So I've been doing a few code reviews here and there, triaging some of the bugs and things like that. So back to the nitty gritty basically for the next week or so. So I will hand over to Josh.
Like I said, Chart Museum 0.10. Big thanks to Kurapaya, who's on the call. He's really been making sure that all of the chart repo stuff is working well with Helm 3 and push to get the release out. So thank you. Besides that, I've been scrubbing the issue queue for registry related things and trying to stay on top of the latest. Let's see, Matt Farina.
I have been triaging pull requests mostly and trying to figure out how to get a 3.0.1 release out so we can start to get some of the bug fixes out. That's mostly been my focus. How about Mark?
Thanks. Not much. I've posted a completion for plugins. So it's a proposal to support or to allow plugins to provide their own bash completions. It's a large, well, it's considered a large patch according to the GitHub bot. So whenever somebody has a moment to test it out, I'd love feedback. It adds some things to Helm core. So I need you guys to approve it.
All right, so Mark, what we normally do here is you pass on to the next person.
Oh, sorry.
Although you might be the last one before going back to Dr. Butcher today.
Yep, it looks like it. Okay, so I'll give a kind of team update too. So we're hitting the end of the year where a lot of people have use it or lose it vacation time, as is the case with many orgs. So velocity on my team has slowed way down and probably will remain kind of pretty low from now till the end of the year. However, at least one person from my team at all times will be keeping track of the Helm issue queue so that we make sure nothing drops through the cracks. It just might not get fixed until January if it's a kind of low priority thing or something. So on that note, I just finished my last conference of the year yesterday, so I will probably be the one watching the issue queue next week from our team. But otherwise, I haven't gotten too much done since KubeCon, other than following up on a couple of issues and trying to track down some things that people asked me about at KubeCon. So that's it for me. So the next item on the agenda. Is there anybody in the anybody in the community who would like to give a quick update on something that they're working about? Same kind of flavor as what we basically just did with the core maintainers.
So I'm Karupaya here. So I've been recently working on the Helm push plugin and Chart Museum regarding a small issue where there is some unmarshaled errors with respect to YAML packages being upgraded recently. So yep, that's it. I've raised PIs and I'm getting help from Chidalski, and yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone else, or otherwise I will move on.
Can I ask one question? Maybe two. I haven't been able to pay attention. It came up today. Is Helm 3 backwards compatible with respect to CRD handling for charts?
No, that's one of the areas that you can write a chart that will work in 2 and in 3, but the mechanisms are different. In 2, it was the CRD hook, and in 3, it's the CRD directory.
So current charts that do handle CRDs will have to be updated to work with Helm 3.
I believe so.
Yes. Okay. They're in the stable repository. There are examples of where they've already moved over to it. In fact, one of the neat things they've done is they've set up the CRD directory with the CRDs, and then they'll put the CRD install hook on them. And then in the templates directory, they literally just import those CRDs, and they use the templating functions to pull them in there, so they only have it once. But there are examples in the stable repository.
Cool, great, I'll have a look. Question number 2, if I may. I use VS Code with Helm, and I used to use the debugger. With Go modules and /v3, it's not working for me, but it's the first time I had to deal with that. Does anybody else use it?
I know people on my team use that extension, but I don't know who uses the debugger, and if they. I'll ask around though.
Is there any other debugger maybe to use?
Printf.
I was trying to be disciplined.
I grep. Sorry, I still haven't moved off Vim, but I'm going there for VS Code one of these days.
So I use VS Code, but I haven't used the debugger. I know with the move to Go modules, many of the tools out there haven't made the move yet. Like the Go team has a package copying tool to make your own. That doesn't work. The godoc.org doesn't support Go modules yet. There's a lot of things out there that still don't work in that. So the debugger may be one of those things, but I haven't checked. It may be that the debugger needs to be upgraded to a newer release. That's something to look into. I've had to manually upgrade some of those things in the past.
Well, to be honest, it's just about the positioning of the Helm repo within the path. So at one point, I got it to work by moving it under a v3 directory, but a big hack. So I wanted to ask about it.
Have you tried moving it outside of the Go path?
I haven't. I can try that.
Try that, because when it's inside the Go path, it has to figure out whether or not to use modules or not. When it's outside of the Go path, most tools should know automatically it's outside the Go path, use Go modules. And so it can help it figure it out a little bit easier. That's been my trick, is I moved for Helm 3, I moved it outside of the Go path.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the discussion topics. The first one is the chart util unmarshalling to JSON issue. I think 6888, that's 6 with 3 8s, is the pull request for that. And Matt Farina, I think you added this to the agenda, so you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so There's been a longstanding issue with the way we're handling numbers. And this one here, the reason I bring it up is I was reviewing it and I realized this is the first issue, if you actually scroll down in the files, where it's importing the C library. And so it is actually using C bindings to do some work, and it appears to be some overriding and things like that at the end. And so while most of the code looked all right, as soon as I got into the overrides and what was happening there, which was the problem that stopped it earlier, we'd actually done the first half of this pull request before. It created problems and we reverted it. And now they're taking another shot at it, but they're overloading some functions and they're using C bindings to do it. So what I'd really like is a lot of the Helm maintainers to take a look at this, especially since I think this is the first time we're using the C bindings, if we're even going to use that, to really give this one a good look over. Because it's not just about the functionality, it's about the way it's being implemented and what needs to be done. And so I really just wanted to request, if you're a Helm client maintainer, go take a look at this and weigh in on it, especially if you know much about the C stuff.
So when you say C bindings, you're talking about the CGO stuff?
CGO stuff.
Okay. I will take a look at it. And I will probably enlist Brian Hardock to take a look at it.
Okay, that would be fantastic. That's all I really wanted with that, was to raise this one, because that's, yeah, I was hoping to get it in 3.0.1 because it's a bug fix of some sorts, but it's a bigger change. And that's all I had on that one.
All right, next one is the 3.0.1 release. I think we have the milestone set up and have been making pretty steady progress on that. This is also Matt Free. I have a feel, yeah, you've got all but one agenda item. What's status on this and what's
So I've been trying to get this because we released 3.0.0 and we knew there'd be a bunch of bugs in it. And now we've got 11 bug fixes. It's not all of them, but it's a fair number of them. And I was wondering if there's anything that should block this and if there's anything else we should get into it. Otherwise, I think I can cut a release sometime later today. Any reason I shouldn't cut the release or anything else that should be thrown into it last minute? We can do a 3.0.2, say next week or something, but I'd like to get a cadence going of getting some of these fixes out. Anyone have any thoughts on this or care?
I personally would like to see the release sooner rather than later, unless there's a fairly severe blocking issue. And there aren't any that I know of.
Okay.
You're running out of time anyway before the holidays, so it's probably a good time to get it out, mate.
All right, and then I'll try and get this out later today.
Okay, S390 releases, S390X releases. I don't know.
That's me too. We've got multiple pull requests about supporting, what is this, IBM's, what is S390X? It's their mainframe, basically. It's an IBM mainframe system. And Go supports it, and they're asking us to do binary releases and support it for testing and all of this stuff. I know it's a very, very niche case compared to our Windows, Linux, and Mac current setup. What do we think about supporting that as make targets and all of that stuff?
Is there anybody on our team who has even access to an S390X machine?
I feel you all looking at me.
I wasn't, but Martin, thank you for speaking up.
Personally, no. I don't have access to one. I suppose I'd say leave it with me and I'll ask around and see what we do with this. In the past, it's been kind of, I think, pushed out to a group that did these kind of builds. Wasn't that correct?
I know we have not done builds on it in the past because we assumed that there were specialists in the field who could do it better than us.
Yeah, and what you see is they're actually asking us to add a build target, and this, because of the way the targets work, is going to affect, well, the way we do builds and releases in their current pull request. They just dropped it in because they asked us to do some extra stuff around
Do you have the PR? Or
I just dropped it into the chat
Oh, sorry.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, they wanted, they had one about running tests, but they also added it runs tests around plugin test and things like that for architecture. They have a couple of pull requests that they've dropped on us.
Oh,
And these are feature based to add 390X support. So I just dropped both of those into chat, and I'm not opposed to them. It's just one of those things where we can't really ever test or run any of this stuff or really debug it, which creates a little bit of a problem for us.
because we've nothing to test against, do we?
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
Right.
because there's no. It's like adding a build target isn't a problem. It's
yeah.
Thing
It's
actually-
making any assertion that that build that was produced is any good. That's we don't know what to do about that. So.
Okay, put it against me, and I'll try and go through. I know there's been a bit of history in the past, and I know the other, or Fisher has kind of batted it different ways. So maybe we need to just come up with a definitive answer on it, one way or the other, and let me talk to people and stuff and see what we can do. But look, if we don't have, I don't think we're really going to ship a mainframe somewhere. So unless, unless we can get it. So yeah, put it against my name, please, Matt, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay, thank you. And the big thing here is this actually does with our release and signing process, the change that 6988. This is one that would cause our automatic tooling to create builds and zips and package them up and create release downloads and do all of that stuff. And we'd end up signing around it. All that stuff is in place with this one. And so 6988 is a big one for us to look at, but I'll assign it to you so we can chase this one down. But without having hardware to target, I'm tentative to sign up for a binary because that means we'd have to support it. But if somebody else wants to sign up for a binary and they've got a system to support it and are willing to, then we could talk about how we could handle that instead.
Yeah, ideally being able to run the tests on a CI system that could give us a reasonable set of results would be good, if possible.
Just a note, if I may, if I look at the make file of a Helm 2, it's in there. So I don't know how it was handled before.
Oh yeah, that was the client, but not the tiller part. So I just need to go through the notes. It was, to be honest, I don't think we ever definitively dealt with it. We smudged it, if that's want of a better word. So I think we just need to, as you say, figure out exactly what we can support, and if we can't support it, then so be it. And we'll talk to people on it if they can do it.
All right, that sounds good. So we can just try and follow up on that maybe next week or something, and see if any progress has been made. Okay, last item on here. So there were, right before the Helm 3.0 release was done, I merged in a patch that stopped a certain class of discovery client errors from bubbling up when I think it was API gateways had been installed and then were shut off or were no longer answering requests. The discovery client gave an error. And we trapped that error in one place, and there was a suggestion that there was a second place that we could and possibly should trap that error. And I have forgotten who I was discussing this with. Are you on the call? I completely forgot about this until about 10 minutes ago, so I'm underprepared. Okay, I'll try and circle back on that next week at this meeting next week. But I think that I went and looked through the proposal, and I think it is true that we might as well capture the same discovery error elsewhere. And basically, it was causing, under very specific conditions, it was causing templates to fail to render. And there's no real reason to do that, particularly since the discovery client still gives us usable data back. It just also emits errors that are really technically just warnings. I'll take a shot at that, and maybe we'll just follow up on that in the issue queue unless anybody else here has something to add. Okay, and Josh, do you want to go ahead and spend a couple minutes talking about the Go modules ORS library update?
Yeah, I just put this on here. If anyone else has anything else they want to say, just butt in. But Yeah, like a lot of people have been trying to import Helm 3 to use as a Go library, and they run into this need to do a replace, which has to do with like Moby versus Docker or something like that. And I've opened a PR that updates a bunch of patch versions of several modules. Martin had reviewed it before KubeCon, but it's kind of, I made another update. But I'm also wondering if people think that this will actually remove the need for a replace, if anyone has that expertise in Go module usage.
This would be Adam's domain, I think.
Okay.
I'll see if I can take a look at it, but I'm speaking at another conference, so it may be a delay on it. I'll see if I can get it done sometime soonish. The Go module stuff I can look at.
So this wouldn't make into 301, right? This would be a 301.
It would not. It's not a bug. 301 is
Yeah.
just a patch for bug fixes. This would go in a 310. I'd like to get a 310 out. Hopefully early January would be my guess, given everybody's out and gone.
Okay.
We're just moving at a slow pace right now.
Well, yeah, then we've got time. But yeah, it has to do with the Oris library, which I was the one to introduce. So I feel bad that people are struggling around the world with this dependency issue. But
They're still going to struggle with Go modules. This is just one other thing.
okay. All right.
Well, in fairness, Josh, you did tidy a good bit of it up, and we got rid of the interim release of Containerd. So it's getting better. So
Yeah. Okay. That's all.
Okay, so we made it through our agenda just in time to vote on, or to get some volunteers for next week's notes and moderator. Anybody interested in taking notes? Any of the core maintainers interested in taking notes next week?
I'll do notes.
Oh, you waited till just before I was going to volunteer to do it.
Well, no, if you want to go ahead, and I can do moderator, one or the other.
I can take notes next week. I haven't taken notes in a while either. So October and November were so busy that I feel like I should do my responsibility here for the client.
Okay, you do notes on moderating.
Okay,
if
that's
you can,
a deal.
if you can understand what I say, then you can write it down. Exactly.
All right, that sounds good. Any last things that people would like to cover quickly before we end the call?
Yeah, hi. I'm Mohan. I'm new to the community. I wanted to. Yeah, hi. I wanted to contribute to Helm, and so if you could add me to the Slack channel, it'd be very helpful if I get blocked while in my development phase.
So Mohan, the Slack channel is publicly available on the Kubernetes Slack. So it's just Helm-users and Helm-dev. And I don't know the link. I think it's k8s.slack. There it is. Yeah, slack.k8s.io.
Slack.k8s.io will give you a place if you need to sign up for it. And then there are multiple Helm rooms. You can come join in there.
Awesome. Yeah, this is the link I was looking for. Thank you.
All right, we are right up about at time, so we will meet again next week. I know that things will be a little bit lighter than usual through the month of December. So for those of you who are, heading out for the holidays or something like that, enjoy them. Those of us who will be around next week, I'll see you again next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.
See you, folks.
Yeah.
Bye.